Well, good morning. Good, excuse me. Good morning, and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is William Lawson. Morning Report is a production of FightBackMedia.com, 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 and FightBackMediaTV.com. I trust that you are well this glorious, glorious Monday morning. It is Monday here in Florida, and the temperature has been sort of going up over the past 7 or 8 days because we had lows in the 40s, not during the day, but at night. And now the lows at night are a comfortable 68, 69 degrees. And I know for some of you that would be a heat wave. I get that, but that's not the case here. Uh, so during the day, most of the days in the mid 70s, we've had highs in the low 80s. So it's nice here. It really is. It's nice. The weather is nice. The governor is awesome. Yeah, yeah. It's good to live here in Florida. We have some stories to get to today. Some of them having to do with the Florida election. It looks like Charlie Crist is scrambling at the last minute for a campaign manager or somebody who works in his campaign, and we'll tell you why. Kind of sad, really. Um, we're going to have conversations about a lot of things today that we think are incredibly important, super important. Let's see here. Let's get to those. You guys probably already heard that some of the Sandy Hook parents want um, Alex Jones to pay almost $1 billion in damages. Well, it's they want more than that, and we'll let you know. Speaking of being in Florida, a federal judge for the second time has blocked a proceeding to stop the parental rights bill from being implemented. So there you go. It is quite a day. We are right up against midterm elections. Midterm elections are on the 8th of November. While watching the NFL yesterday, and we watched the NFL in my house, I noticed that they were running commercials about. Actually, it's interesting because they were talking about Sunday. If you are a football watcher, you knew that Sunday is National Tight End Day, and it's just something that they can play with on the on the TV. It's nothing for real. It's just something that they can have a good time with. I think they should have a National Punters Day, and that would be even funnier. But anyway, I know that they were having good fun with that, but they moved from that to it is also. I mean, National Tight End Day is an important day, but voting day is coming up, and they will try to encourage those that watch their product that they should get ready to vote. And now these were older commercials because they mentioned getting registered, and in most places, unless you have same day registration, which is a nightmare. Get registered and get learned up on the candidates and the issues, and then vote. And I took that to mean in their commercial they were talking about me too. So I've already registered and I'm already learned up. And tomorrow we're going to give you our endorsements of all the Florida candidates. And I'm going to get with Paul. Hopefully next week we can give you our endorsement on some of the national candidates. So how about that? All righty. We'll take a little break. We'll be back with more of the program right after these messages. So is it okay now, because it was, I mean, during the Trump administration, it is okay to talk about the president's
Yeah. We talked about mental health elderly, so let's talk about this guy mental health.
the president's mental acuity, because there's sometimes where it seems to be lacking. Have you seen?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's especially bad. I mean, I'm talking about sometimes it's like really bad. Like, have you seen the picture?
I was told not to take any questions.
I was told not to take any questions. They told they're going to be mad at me.
They're going to be mad at me.
Mr.
President, are you the president, or were you five?
You see what I want? See, the next question is, excuse me,
I was told to call on what you call for NBC. Who's telling you to call on?
That's the question that we ought to be asking. Who's telling you this?
I mean, I don't understand why nobody won't ask that question.
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Who's telling you to call on these people in the media?
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Probably so.
All right, thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. So let's get started. It seems like Charlie Crist is going to have to find somebody else in his campaign to get them through the end of the process. So basically, a lot of people believe that the Florida elections are over. We haven't counted the ballots yet. I am not that person who believes in counting one's chickens before they are hatched. I don't believe in that. I don't think it's a good idea. But it's Republicans should feel pretty good. You notice how we experience a dearth of stories about how Democratic Senate candidate Val Demings will unseat the incumbent Republican Senator Marco Rubio. All the glitz and glamour about Governor Ron DeSantis being unemployed and booted from the governor's mansion by Florida Democrats have died to a silent death. They were really active, and now you just don't. You don't, even in in newspapers like the Tampa Bay Times, which is really the St. Pete Times, which is really Pravda. You really just don't hear. You don't read those stories. You just don't see it. I think they're just sort of hovering in, just hunkering down for the storm that's coming. DeSantis is leading Charlie Crist by nearly 10 point average. And in today's world, that is a butt whipping waiting to happen, based on aggregate polls from Real Clear Politics. And Rubio is leading Val Demings by almost 6 points. That's a butt whipping. So Crist is down by a near impossible margins weeks before Election Day. If there's nothing more that can go wrong, right? Wrong. He lost his campaign manager. And it's for a terrible reason, an awful reason. Austin Durrer resigned from the Crist campaign abruptly last week, citing a family matter. What he failed to mention is that he caused it. He was arrested for domestic violence charges in Maryland. The campaign manager for former Democrat Republican, Florida Representative Charlie Crist bid to unseat the incumbent Florida Governor Ron DeSantis appears to have been arrested in Maryland this week. Before the campaign, said he would leave to handle, quote, a family matter. Austin Durrer, who had worked for Crist since 2016, was arrested in Tuesday in Cambridge, Maryland, on second-degree assault charges in a case classified as domestic violence, according to the Dorchester County court records obtained by Fox News Digital. Durrer was released on $10,000 bond after his arrest, and the court ordered him to surrender firearms and vacate his home. Durrer's trial is slated for December 7th, the day that will live in infamy. Based on the charges in the case, he faces up to 10 years in prison. The Crist campaign abruptly announced that Durrer would depart the campaign mere weeks before the election to deal with a family issue that has arisen. The announcement didn't mention Durrer's apparent domestic violence arrest. It said this: Austin Durrer has departed the campaign to focus on a family matter, campaign spokesman Samantha Ramirez said in a statement, according to the independent outlet Florida Politics. Politico reported that campaign insiders declined to explain why Durrer departed the campaign, but reiterated it was because of a, quote, family emergency, end quote. Now, are we going to find out what happened? I don't think so, not at all. Well, because none of the major news, quote, news, end quote, sources give a crap about anything they say they do. You would think that that CNN or MSNBC would care about domestic violence, right? People involved in domestic violence. You would think that they would care, right? Yeah, they don't. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. So we're really not going to hear much about this. It's kind of a shame. Kind of a shame for his family. It's kind of a shame because you know what? I really hate when these things happen. Um, it's not good. It's not a good look. It's not good for anybody. And you know and being a child of a household that experienced domestic violence is a terrible thing. You wake up scared. You go to bed scared. You're afraid to go home. So adults that participate, that engage in this kind of behavior, not only should they be brought up on assault charges, they should be brought up on child endangerment and child abuse charges, especially if there are children around. It's the worst thing ever. So I'm not taking a victory lap about Austin Durrer. If Austin Durrer is guilty of these charges, he needs to get first of all he needs to go to jail. Second of all, he needs to get help. There you go. All right. We heard last week that Alex Jones, who is the founder of InfoWars, had been ordered by the court to pay almost $1 billion to the family of Sandy Hook victims for claiming that the 2012 school shooting was a red flag event. This is something that would seem impossible for anybody short of a billionaire status to pay. Yet, on Friday, the victim's family asked the Connecticut judge for an additional punitive damages that could go up as high as $2.75 trillion. $2.5 trillion. Nobody has $2.75 trillion. This is from Reuters. The family said in the filing that the historic, end quote, scale of Jones's wrongdoing in this case, and quote, his utter lack of repentance and clear intention to continue spreading lies about them deserve the highest punishment in the court's power. The Connecticut jury found Jones and InfoWars parent company Free Speech Systems LLC should also pay punitive damages, which are set to be determined by a judge after several days of hearings next month. In their filing Friday, the families offered various methods of calculating punitive damages in their cases. They said by one metric, they could be entitled to $2.75 trillion based on the number of article impressions InfoWars false stories garnered. No. Jones was wrong, and it said so. But on the other hand, should being wrong on an outlandish speculation, even so massively lead to a lifetime of poverty? So does free speech still exist in America? Notwithstanding those issues and the general dislike for Jones, even many in the conservative media and punditry there seems to be almost a universal disdain for the absurdity of a last demand. Independent journalist Michael Tracy, who was once a member of the Young Turks and supported Bernie Sanders in 2016, wrote, "Did Alex Jones invade Ukraine or something?" Here's something else that Tracy wrote. I actually covered the Sandy Hook shooting in 2012 and saw in person the body of a dead first grader. So yeah, Alex Jones was wrong. But this new idea that spreading crazy theories about news events somehow warrants ruinous multi-trillion-dollar penalties also seems crazy. Plenty more reactions range from questioning the motives and legal justification behind the trial itself to open mockery. I mean, it just seems Tim Pool just wrote, really, really. Yeah, the idea, my thought is, the idea behind all of this is to get rid of InfoWars. Because every dollar they make, the overcourt, this will ruin, if Alex Jones is ruined in the process, that's just collateral damage. They don't care about that. They want to get rid of InfoWars. And by getting rid of InfoWars, they're not going after InfoWars anymore. They're going after the rest of us. I believe that. They're going after the rest of us. We're being able to say things that are not in the mainstream, by saying things that are outside the mainstream, by having a non-mainstream opinion on COVID, or having a non-mainstream opinion on Antifa, and having a non-mainstream opinion on anything, abortion, anything. That if we don't toe the line somehow, then we could be ruined forever, and everything that we've built will be destroyed. That's what this is about. I can't imagine the pain of losing my 8-year-old. I have a 32-year-old now, and I told you, I told you guys this before here on this program. I can't imagine my life without him in it. He's 32. I just can't. I would never be the same, ever. You probably would never see me again. You'd never see me here again. I wouldn't have enough whatever it took to sit here in this chair to do this every day. So I can't imagine the pain of sending your darling little 8-year-old or 9-year-old to your local school and getting a call and finding out that it's been murdered by somebody, by some crazy, awful person. Can't even imagine. I can't imagine that kind of pain as a parent. But this, I believe the parents are being. I do. I believe the parents are being used again. I think that the next, the new tragedy is these parents are being used again, and that saddens me. That saddens me. Alrighty, we'll break. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of FightBackMedia.com, 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 and FightBackMediaTV.com. We'll be back right after these messages. Well, hey everybody, my name is Willie Lawson, and you guys know that I do a lot of stuff on the internet, and you may think with what's happening on Twitter and what's happening on Facebook and what happened to Parler that the mainstream social media sources are really trying to rid themselves of conservative voices. And you'd be right. They most certainly are. Um, but you know what? It isn't as bad as you think it is. It's worse. But there are people who are willing to be platformed for free speech. One of those one of those places is freedomforum.website. Freedomforum.website. You can go there and speak your mind. So come join us. Enjoy the freedom. Enjoy the fun. If you are a true blue conservative, small businesses are near and dear to your heart. They are the lifeblood of our life and economy. I believe this, and that's why my florist is not a website or phone number. My florist is Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, Tampa's premier flower shop. At 11618 North Florida Avenue here in Tampa, Florida, and at 6835 State Road 54 in Newport Richey. Call Christine at 813-933-1942 and at 727-232-6900. She can also be reached on the web at www.bloomingdays.com. One of the things that I get asked most is where can I get information that is not tainted with liberal bias, especially here in the Tampa Bay area. Well, now I have the answer. tbctampa.com, a website by and for Tampa area conservatives. Tampa's leading conservative voices speak freely at tbctampa.com, and you can too. So join the fun and enjoy the freedom at tbctampa.com. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report. All right. Again, thank you so much for coming to the Morning Report. Morning Report is a collection of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. My name is Willie Lawson. I am thrilled that you have chosen to join us today. We are doing the best we can with what we have. Up north, where a dude named Tim Ryan, ever heard of him, is running for, I believe Tim is running for Senate. Yes. And now the idea is that the Democrats are abandoning Tim Ryan. They're all leaving him. And he says they're leaving him because he's going to be a royal pain in the ass for the Senate Democrats if he won his race against GOP challenger J.D. Vance. In an interview with Politico that published Friday, he said he wasn't even sure that he'd back Chuck Schumer as majority leader if he won. I will get to the Senate and be beholden to absolutely nobody, right? I will be probably a royal pain in the ass when I get there, said Ryan, and that's the reason we're not getting any help. This is what he says. As the Washington Post recently reported, while Democrats are heaping praise on the congressman, the National Party hasn't helped as much as he has hoped, given how competitive the race is. But his pleas for more assistance, money, may be undermining his argument that he'd be independent from party leadership. This is from the Washington Post. Failing to help Ryan sends a larger message of Democrats are giving up on the state, according to some in the party. I worry that Democrats in Washington send a signal to Republicans that if they come in big and attack a Democrat, Democrats will walk away. said David Pepper, a former chairman of the Ohio Democrat Party. Ryan is not so subtle requests for more outside help from Democrats could threaten to undermine one key strength in his candidacy: his independence from the Democrat Party. On Monday night, during the second half, on the second and final Ohio Senate debate, Vance attacked him for his entreaties. The guy who's subservient to the National Party is Tim Ryan, and who has been begging these guys to come into this race and save him from the campaign that he's been running, Vance said on the debate stage. The Real Clear Politics average has Vance up 2.3 points and gives his race a GOP leaning rank. Well, see, that's the kind of thing they like you to believe. In an opinion piece by Derek Hunter, which I agree with, Derek writes this: "Panic sells, or so it seems. I would never donate to a campaign where the tactic is, if you don't give to us, we're going to shut everything down and lose." Because that campaign doesn't seem at all stable to begin with and is unlikely to do well. In other words, the stench of desperation, at least in my opinion, would turn off supporters. Yet that stench is a tactic employed by Congressman Tim Ryan, Democrat, in his run for Senate in Ohio. It started just a few days ago after the Ohio's Senate debate, in which Republican J.D. Vance humiliated Ryan on the issue of race. It was funny to watch. Then it became even funnier to watch with emails both from his campaign and from coordinating groups. The group Democratic Strategy Institute sent one under the senator's name, "Ignored and Abandoned," with the subject line, NBC News, "Nobody cares about Tim Ryan." Who's that meant to appeal to? Then came one from Ryan himself, in coordination with the group National Democratic Training Committee, where they would split whatever donations they get. I don't think the National Democrat Training Committee is associated with the party itself, so I'm not sure how they're able to coordinate like this. But let these people make laws, so I guess it's legal somehow. The subject line for the email from the candidate himself was, "Please help." As if that wasn't uninspiring enough, the first thing you see is, when you open the email, is a dour picture of Ryan's with the words, "I need a miracle. Please open your, can you chip in? I need a miracle." In that email, Congressman Ryan writes, "Stop everything you're doing. Don't close this email. Don't open Facebook. I'm neck and neck in the polls, but Democrats are abandoning me in droves. And it takes a last minute miracle for me to hit my $10,000 goal tonight, $10,000 goal tonight. So please, can you chip in and help me win?" This idea that, we used to have this thing when I was in high school. We had, of course, there was homecoming. You had a homecoming queen, and at my high school, of course, we would vote for, who we thought the homecoming queen should be. And then we had the homecoming king, which we also call the ugly man contest. And if somebody won the ugly man contest, what they had to do was they had to raise pennies. Now, we had a really big school, so when we say pennies, you're thinking, golly, you have to do better than that. No, I mean, my senior class had almost 1,000 kids in it. And the next class had over 1,000 kids, and the next class had over 1,000 kids. But whoever raised the most pennies of those that were running for ugly man would win ugly man, or, quote, king, homecoming king. And that money went to charity. This is what this is like. This is what it seems like. If I raise the most money, I'll win. Really? So you don't have enough money. Okay. Are you out there on the stump? What are you doing? What are you saying to people? How are you encouraging people to come on board and vote for you? As opposed to, "Everybody's left me. I need a miracle." I'd be like, maybe you do. Kind of weird. And the author of this opinion piece, and his name is Derek Hunter, is thinking this is all a hoax. It's a scam. It's a scam. Since Monday's debate, Derek said he received 33 emails from the organizations mentioned above, as well as DNC itself and the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, all with varying degrees of desperation, full of lies. In other words, just your typical left-wing fundraising pitch. I hope these will be a hell of a lot funnier after the election once Democrats are destroyed at the polls. Yeah, it's just about it's a big money grab. It's a way to pull on your heartstrings so they can pull on your purse strings. It's a big freaking money grab. Well, living in Florida is pretty doggone good. A federal judge will not block Governor Ron DeSantis's, actually it's not his, it's the state of Florida's parental rights bill in education, dubbed the Don't Say Gay bill, which is not what it means at all. If you want to read that bill, by the way, you can go to fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com, and scroll to the very bottom. That bill is right there in its original form, in its entirety, written in English. So you can read it for yourself. It's I think a whole thing is 7 pages long. It's an easy read. U.S. District Judge Wendy Berger refused to block Florida school districts from carrying out new state law that requires instructions on gender identity and sexual orientation in classroom, rejecting arguments by parents, students, and nonprofit organizations. Okay. This is the second time in less than a month that a federal judge has blocked cases that attempt to challenge the controversial law. And how is it controversial? I've said this to you before. The law just says, hey, listen, I don't care what you do. I don't want you talking to my 8-year-old about your transgender thing you got going on, or anything you got going on. I don't want them to learn about homosexuality from you. I don't. Not my 5-year-old, not my 7-year-old. I got this. I'll handle that. So the law bans children from being taught explicit topics such as gender identity, sexual orientation for kindergarten through 3rd grade. That's 5 through 8. The material taught must be age appropriate in accordance to state standards. The law also states that parents have the right to know what is being taught to their kids, allowing them to intervene if they feel the classroom instruction is too mature for their child. So that just means that parents should know what the hell's going on in the classroom. And that's controversial? And that's controversial? No. Actually, truly, it isn't. Is it a pain in the ass for a school district that have been just doing whatever the hell they want to do the past 25 years? Yes, most certainly it is. Is it upsetting the apple cart? Is it changing the direction? Is it making people more accountable? Yes. Is it controversial? Not at all. Layers for parents, for the parents argue, lawyers for the parents. I love when you're reading something off a major website and they've got a misspelling. Lawyers for the parents argue that the law was, quote, enacted with the purpose of to discriminate and have the effect of discriminating against the LGBTQ plus students and for those with LGBTQ plus family members. It is not. Live however you live. We just don't want to hear about it. We want all that classroom time, all that precious classroom time to be spent on math, English, social studies, and science. That's what we want. However, Attorney General Ashley Moody's office said that the plaintiff did not have legal standing, prompted Berger to deny the request to block the law. Plaintiffs have not pointed to the court, not pointed this court to any policy or procedure from Orange County that they allege have resulted in an increase in bullying that SC might experience at school. Berger wrote in a response to her decision, while the court is sympathetic to the cousin's fear that their child may be bullied, it is simply a fact of life that many middle school students will face the criticism and harsh judgment of their peers. SC is not alone in this regard. Indeed, middle school children bully and belittle their classmates for a whole host of reasons, all of which are unacceptable, and many of which have nothing to do with the classmate's gender identity. I don't know. This judge, Wendy Berger, said middle school kids suck and can act terribly. And there isn't any justification at this point where this law caused any of that to happen. Sorry. We got to stop suing people when we think, and we got to stop getting stupid because somebody may get their feelings hurt. My last tweet was just, "Hey, listen, I have no more patience, zero patience for people who are worried about getting their feelings hurt." What did I actually say? Let me find that tweet to find out what I actually said. What I actually said, I've lost all my patience with people that are soft and believe that your feelings should never be hurt. From now on, I don't care. I just don't care. All righty, we got to get out of here and make room for somebody else. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.